If you have been trying to figure out a way to be able to create, rig, and animate a character in Blender, then this video is for you. This is the simplest way that I found to do this. Now, we are going to be using the Makehuman add-on or the MPFB add-on. So this is a modified version of the Makehuman software. The video of how to install the Makehuman add-on will be in the description. So go watch it first before you actually watch this video that you're seeing right now. And once you select the gender, you can just go ahead to select the create character. Once you create your character, you can be able to use the phenotype to be able to adjust some few parts of the character. So once you're done doing that, you can now go into your material viewport. And once you're in material viewport, you can be able to add your skin. So you can be able to see the different skins there. Now you have to make sure you have done all the installations of the assets, so to have access to all these skins that I actually have here. So make sure you go watch the video before. Then now you can be able to first go into rigging and add a rigify rig. I like using a rigify rig. You can also use other rigs that are there. Then you can now begin to add things like the eye and the other parts of the body. So I've added the eye and the eyelashes. The next thing you want to add is the hair. So you can add different kinds of hair depending on the assets you have been able to install. So make sure you download all the assets and install them. So I have this particular hair that I have added for this character and it looks good on it. The next thing I'll add is the teeth and the tongue. Now let's go into cloth. So what I did was to duplicate the body, because whenever you add the cloth, it will displace the body mesh. So make sure you duplicate it so that it doesn't displace it. So you can be able to have an additional one and leave the main skin there. So now I've added the shirt and then I can add a gun. And I will go on to search for different clothing, depending on the one I want. So I've added trousers here. Now I've added a cap and then I'll go for some shoes. So if you look at now, you have a very simple character, and make sure you select the right things before you can be able to add it. So if you look at now, the remaining part of this mesh is just a part of the head and a part of the body. So later we will be able to delete that, leaving off the main body to still be complete and not displaced by the cloth that we already added. Now you can be able to add your rig controls by selecting the delete rig and then rigify, and then you just click on that button and then it will just add the rigify controls. Now if you go into your pose mode, you can be able to select the different IK bones and then to be able to actually see how it works. Now if you go in, you can be able to use IK bones to be able to make the character to stand firm. So we're getting this character ready for animation. Now if you look at, we'll have different parts that we don't even need, so we're going to be hiding some part of it. So now I'll go up to the item at the top, and now I'll open this with N, and then I will begin to turn off some of this FK and other bones I don't need, other controls that I actually don't need, so that my controls actually becomes very easy to see. So we're going to come down and drag this thing up, and we need to turn on the keying, and I'm going to select the location rotation and then turn on the auto keyframing. This will enable me to select bones and automatically animate them. So right now when I'm moving any bone, it's automatically being animated and it will remember where it is at a particular time. Now I'm going to just add a floor, and make sure you turn on the auto keyframing when you're adding the floor so it doesn't animate. So when you're done, you're going to go back to your pose mode, and then you can be able to select the bones and then begin to pose it. Now I'm getting the first pose, which is actually the first key pose, and that key pose is just the left leg forward and then the right leg backwards, and then we're going to make the hands to be opposite each other. So once you finish using that, we're going to be using the IK chain. So you select those IKs, and with rotation you can be able to actually rotate them and then position them in the way that it balances. Now when you're done, you press A to select everything and press I to keyframe every part of the bone. Make sure you do this. Click on the keyframe in the frame 1 and press Ctrl C to copy it. Then once you do that, go to your frame 10 and then you press Ctrl Shift V. This will flip the pose and then paste the flip version of it, making the left leg to be back and then the right leg to be forward. Then you do Ctrl V on the frame 20 to be able to add the same thing that you have on the front to be in the one at the last part. Now let's go and do the one for the passing pose. So the passing pose now, we'll go to frame 5 and we're going to add a passing pose, and that is actually when the leg will come up and then the body will actually go up. So we're going to make the body to go up and then the leg to actually come up, and the leg from the back, which is actually the right leg, will be the one that will be coming up. Then we'll do the same thing on frame 15, making the left leg to be able to go up to, and then you just slant it a bit so that it actually passes. So when you actually start scrolling through it, you actually see that the character now has a smoother and more realistic movement. So always make sure you select everything and press I, and it will make sure that everything is keyframe. If not, sometimes some bones will begin to malfunction. So that's basically how you can be able to actually do some very simple animation inside Blender. Now, if you want to add more details, you can begin to work on different parts of it to be able to add more things to it. So we look at the shoulder, the bone on the shoulder, you can be able to actually make it to move towards that part when it rotates to that part. So you do RZ and then you just move it a bit and you have that movement. You also do that on the waist so that it will actually have that movement to make it more realistic, as if the body is really moving. So with this particular thing, you can be able to actually create more realistic movement. There are other things you could do, but this is just basically how you can be able to animate a character in Blender using the Makehuman add-on. So once you're using the Makehuman add-on, it's easier for you to be able to create characters and also to be able to rig them, and you can literally animate them, using that. So thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed this video, put that in the comment, and I will see you in the next video.